Before you break my heart. We're still muted, right?
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
Oh, there's a spinny thing.
That means it's time to go.
Stop talking now.
Why do we keep doing this every week? Hello!
Hi there!
And welcome to this week at For Horsemen, where here in West Virginia, we've experienced our first week of cold weather. So For Horsemen Comics and Gaming would like to welcome you to fall with a brand new product. Exclusively at Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming. Come after 9 p.m. with your ID, show your 21, and we'll have it there for you.
Pumpkin spice blood wine.
So what is this week at Four Horsemen?
I can't remember.
All right. This week at Four Horsemen is this weekly thing that we do, and we're still not sure why we're still doing it.
We're still here.
Yeah. For some reason, we're not going away anytime soon, apparently. We normally start these things off with a giveaway, or at least talking about a giveaway. And last week, we posted this lovely image of Spock.
It's fantastic.
Yes, which I may have forgotten to put that up for Alex, but it's probably still in the main show there.
The caption contest.
There you go.
There we are.
Bring him up. Oh, yes. We've had this guy posted on our social media for a week, and we have a caption contest going on. We're here to announce our winner. But first, I want to say our honorable mention. Truby Turner got an honorable mention with his comment. Super Kana Ferengi Listic Enterprise Docious. Hold on.
Can you say it backwards?
Nope. Docious Enterprise Listic Ferengi Akana Super. Oh, God. I need a drink. You who won?
So our contest winner is Miss Jeannie Gribble, apparently Dale's wife. No.
No, that's no.
Different Gribble.
No. I wonder if she gets headaches.
Probably.
Okay. She watches this show. She does.
Yep, she does now. She wrote in, Mr. Spock, you've just reversed the effects of Kolinar. What are you going to do now?
Obviously. Going to Disney World.
You go to Disney every time.
Yeah, of course. We're moving on to comics, and this first comic that we have, I know a lot of people are going to be excited for this one. I know Ron is. Yeah, up on the screen, what do we have coming out this week, Ron, with issue number 1?
We have, not that one.
Not that one. That was from last week. Uh-oh. Well, we don't have any comic images this week because Ryan forgot to do it. And that's why we're still asking why
are we still
on the air?
So I love this show.
Okay, so what is our first comic this week?
First comic of the week is Mystery Science Theater 3000 number 1, and I have no idea how they're actually going to do this in a comic. I haven't seen it yet. You have to read it. I would imagine that each page has them at the bottom. Yeah.
But
what's the comic?
Maybe it's a comic. Maybe it's like a superhero comic, and then they're at the bottom, and
that would be fantastic.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. But then also from DC Comics this week, they're doing these Sandman like one-offs, like spin-offs.
Smart spin-offs.
Last week they introduced the Sandman number 1.
All right.
And this week we have House of Whispers number 1.
Yeah.
So fans of, the Sandman and that guy who does all those Sandman-y type
Sandman-y stuff?
Sandman-y stuff.
Are these written by Gaiman or
they are not
Dreaming where he's curating other people writing stories?
The one from last week was not written by Neil Gaiman. I did not look at this week's. I would imagine it's not if the other one was not of stuff and things. But also, we have some Star Wars books.
Of course we do.
We have the new issue of Darth Vader coming out this week. This Darth Vader has been just amazing recently. It has got to be a shoo-in. It's going to be a nomination for Best Comic Book of the Year, or at least Best Marvel Book of the Year when the 2018 Horsies come around.
That's coming up.
I know.
That's coming up real soon.
Are you excited for the 2018 Horsies?
I had a lot of fun with last year's Horsies.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And then we also have the final issue of The Last Jedi adaptation. Issue 6 is finally coming out.
Yep.
And it was drawn by my son's kindergarten class. Sorry.
It was... you sent me that art. It's really bad. It's real bad.
I can say this because I love Marvel and I spend money on Marvel. Do better.
You can do so much better.
Do better.
Get Todd McFarlane back.
Okay, so we're moving on to the Four Horsemen versus series, where last week we had an interesting matchup between Green Lantern and Rick and Morty. Who won that comic contest?
Oh, okay. I was going somewhere else with that. Kyle Kirby won with his comment. Couldn't Rick just open a portal to a universe where they defeat him with whatever device was created by that universe's Rick, then bring it back and win? Morty will be doing the Morty Whale the entire time. It's like, oh, geez, Rick.
Oh, geez, Rick.
I mean, with access
is that Morty or Carl?
A little bit of both. Maybe Carl is the Morty of our universe.
Maybe.
Oh, geez,
or was.
Rick. Yeah. Spoilers.
Spoilers, by the way, Rick and Morty won.
Oh, yes.
I have a feeling we're going to see Rick and Morty in the finals.
I hope so.
They are going to be like the rabbit was last year.
That damn rabbit.
Shouldn't have included them. But this week we have, hands down.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
We've got Arya Stark versus the two best droids that ever there was.
She doesn't stand a chance.
3PO has this solo.
Shit. Solo. Well, you know no bounds.
That was the story.
That was the story.
Okay.
Yeah, she doesn't stand a chance. She's gonna look at these things and go, that's witchcraft. First off, she's like,
it doesn't matter. Like, even if she attacks them, she's never gonna hit them.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they do get hit a couple times, but they always recover.
She could take out 3PO.
No, she could.
With the sword, she could beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, but Chewie just put him back together.
Yeah, but R2 would just fry her.
I mean, R2's probably going to get one blast to the chest and go flying up against the Booker and just go, woo! C-3PO is going to have to carry this match.
No way.
R2's going to use his little jets, fly out.
Yeah.
He's going to spit oil all over her and then light it on fire. Yeah.
She's not fireproof.
Okay, so we know who will be sitting on the throne of Westeros this fall when season whatever of Game of Thrones premieres.
Yeah,
for sure.
It won't be 3PO because he is not a god.
I mean, he can only sit on so many thrones at once.
That's right.
All right, we need to move on. Moving on to events, here is a calendar image of all the events that we have going on this week at Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming. Please, if you need any more details on these, go to facebook.com/4horsemencomics and click on the events tab. Now, we have a very special X-Wing event going on this week that Ron is here to talk to us about.
Oh, this X-Wing event. Guys, seriously, get out here tomorrow, Wednesday at 6. We're going to have a $5 entry. There's going to be 100-point lists. We are going to say goodbye to X-Wing 1.0. They are coming out with a new version, all new conversion kits, everything. All your stuff is still good. We just got to get these conversion kits, new cards, new rules. Come play.
What if somebody offers to play in Republic credits?
Republic credits are no good here.
Watto Matty.
My
best Watto?
That's my best Watto.
That's my best Watto. Yeah, no, it's pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yep. Do it. I'll cough if I do it.
Okay. No, I'll do it.
What do you think, you're a Jedi or something? I'm a Toydarian. The only thing that works on me is money. Jedi mind tricks don't work on me.
Pretty good.
Only money.
Only money.
The blue is mother.
I like when he said that.
Yeah, I did too.
It's very creepy.
All right, moving on to HeroClix. We have month 2 of the Days of Future Past event, which is carrying on from the 2 events that we had last month in August. It's going to be tomorrow at 6:45, a $3 entry fee. It's Golden Age format with 400-point lists. And, of course, we are going to have prizes from our Days of Future Past organized play kit, which is very exciting. One of my favorite X-Men comics for sure.
Yeah, good book. Very iconic.
Logan, Kitty Pryde doesn't get much better.
We're also doing a Forcible Tournament this Friday as well. There are a pile of promos that we're going to have, so everybody's walking out with a promo tomorrow, or on Friday rather.
Yes, everybody. Please come get them. Take them away. We're not running events to get rid of them. That's not why we're doing this. And then also in the world of Magic, we have a very unique Magic the Gathering event that our man Wyatt, Y-Guy. He's not a shy guy, that Y-Guy. Has come up with. It's the Ravnica Constructed event.
Did you hear a Wookiee?
Will you somebody go take care of that Wookiee? So to play in this event, you can only use any card from any Ravnica themed set. Proxies are allowed. You do need to get them approved by the person who will be running the event. It's this Saturday at 12 p.m. With 8 players, we will give away a box to first place, and it is a $15 entry fee. This is a super cool event, and I know everybody's psyched for Guilds of Ravnica. I'm waiting for the stories to come out, so I'm super excited. It's going to be great.
I love the flavor of the stories. I don't get to play Magic that much, but I really like the backstories of these things.
So when the Dominaria story ended in the... we find out that Nicole Bolas is like all of the stuff that's been going on Amonkhet and Zendikar.
He's been pulling the strings.
He's been pulling the strings, and it's all been for him to take over Ravnica.
Yeah.
So he's about to unleash. So he killed I told you already. He killed everybody on Amonkhet.
Yeah.
He made them into a zombie army to invade Ravnica. And at the end of the Dominarius story, all of the Guild Pact, they all leave to go to Ravnica to form like this Justice League-esque team. Actually, more like an Avengers-esque team to go fight Nicol Bolas on Ravnica, and he's Thanos, and it's just, it's so cool.
They're gonna lose.
They are. They're gonna lose super hard.
At least half of them.
Yeah, at least half of them.
Too soon, Mr. Stark.
All the Gen 1 ones will live, plus Rocket. But what else do we have going on Magic-wise?
Magic-wise, we've also got M19 Game Day. Is it this Saturday at 5? That is not Magic. That is Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yes, this Saturday at 5. It's at free in the standard event. Yes.
Yep.
But also in the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! We just want to keep beating you over the head with the fact that we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Every Friday at 6:30, and people come out and they play. I was here last Friday. I was here on a Friday.
Saw it.
I saw it. There were people there. They were playing Yu-Gi-Oh! They were dueling. If that's a thing you're interested in, come here. You can do that.
Come duel.
And some other, we have a sneak peek coming up.
There's a sneak peek
for Soul Fusion.
Soul Fusion. October 13th is the day. We are hoping to get that event published soon.
Yes, we'll get more details on that soon. But more importantly, next week we're going to have a featured event. It is our charity for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. That is going to be next weekend, which is the weekend of September the 22nd. And next week's show is just going to be filled with all the details, prizes, events, so on and so forth. If you have any way that you want to get involved with that, please hit a Caleb or Wyatt, not Ron. Not this guy. All right. But that's enough about events. We gotta move on to more important things, namely Star Wars.
The best things,
solely and only Star Wars.
That's fantastic.
StarWars.com just featured a fan film made by two brothers called Bounty Buddies, and this is a stop motion film that features action figures of primarily Boba Fett and Greedo, and it is so funny. And not only do they feature this film, they actually interviewed the kids who made it and did like a full breakdown article on how they did it. It's really cool. And this short film is about Boba Fett coaching Greedo on how to be a bounty hunter before he goes and faces Han. Good job, Boba.
Yeah.
So you can watch this on StarWars.com. I watched it tonight before the show. It's super funny.
I need to check this out.
Yes.
Love Greedo.
I know. And speaking of things that you love, we're moving on to...
look at that. This movie comes out Thursday.
Yes.
Comes out in 2 days. Guys, go see this movie.
The Hunt has evolved.
Yeah, this looks really cool.
I have not watched any of the trailers or anything on this one. What's different? All right, sell me on this movie.
All right, look at that image.
Okay.
What is holding that predator head with associated spinal column?
Is it not a predator hand?
It isn't a predator hand. Why is that? Look at the size of that hand. He's palming a whole predator. The predator head's like this big. It's like
what if he's a big predator?
What if he was?
Is he a big predator?
He is. And apparently he is not taking any crap from the little predators.
I would say that the little predator was not wearing his blue whistle.
I'm not going there. Not going to touch that one.
Unlike the big predator.
Yes.
All right. So we're moving on to the Four Horsemen mailbag.
Right.
Or no, we have a top 10.
We do?
We have a very special top 10 that it's not on here, but it's on the screen. This is the top 10 comics for people who hate comics. Now,
worst comic ever.
So here in comics world, even if you don't like superhero comics, the majority of comic books are either fantasy, sci-fi, horror.
Right.
They tend to fall into those four realms, superheroes and such.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I've compiled a list of comics that fit into other genres: historical, mystery, romance, other. Mm-hmm. Something that you might recommend to somebody who doesn't like comic books.
Oh, okay.
And I've actually spent a little bit of time thinking about this one, and I had a list of over 30 books. So it took me a little bit to whittle this one down. So in order to involve you in this, so that we're not just talking, Alex is going to show us the cover, and you're going to tell me what you think it's about.
All right.
Okay. Let's do this. Number 10.
Pablo Picasso. A documentary.
It is a biography on Pablo Picasso, which I'm actually reading right now. I haven't finished it yet. I might hate it. I don't know. But so far, it's pretty interesting. But the thing that sticks out about this book is the art. A comic book about Pablo Picasso.
Yeah.
It's going to be something that stands out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, can I tell you what I initially thought it was and what I filtered out?
Maybe.
Never mind. Moving on. What's number 2?
Number 9.
That's number 9.
Number 9.
Firefighter?
What is this about?
Oh, man. It looks like a space firefighter.
No.
Like a firefighter in space.
He's just a firefighter. He's just in Tokyo.
He looks like he's in space.
Now, this is a manga.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, a lot of these are mangas. So you may think, oh, these are about firefighters until they find out that they have super firefighting powers. Like this guy can shoot water out of his arm, and this guy can like transform his arm into an axe. No. I'm saying you might think that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not.
What are their superpowers?
There aren't any.
This is just straight up
firefighters. And they fight fires. They try to capture animals that have escaped from a zoo. They have to capture a tiger that's escaped from the zoo. They're rescuing people from a landslide that happened. There's all these real natural disasters, and they talk about the real techniques and equipment. And they also have like just a cool story on top of it. It's a really great comic.
I'll take your word on that one.
Nobody believes me. All
right. The Death of Stalin. I assume the context is in the title.
This is like the 24 hours after Stalin dies. He dies in the first couple pages,
right? And
this is about the immediate ramifications of his death. Now, you have to think that Stalin was the de facto dictator of the Soviet Union for decades.
Right.
They went into utter chaos when he died, and he had like a small circle of lieutenants, like 5 or 6 people that were like primed to take his position. And this is about the bloodbath they ensue upon each other and each other's lieutenants. They actually made a movie out of this. Yeah.
Well, did you a little bit of trivia, did you know that Stalin was actually, they thought he was going to die like several weeks earlier, but he kept doing like these treatments. Turns out he was just Stalin.
Next.
Come on, that was pretty good.
Number 7. So dipping it.
This is just train maps from
Train Man.
Oh, I thought
Train Man.
I thought it said train map.
No, it's train.
That's a whole bunch of maps. Oh, look, it's the metro. Neat.
Okay.
Mountain line. Great.
Dipping our toe into the romance genre, which is not something we do here often on the show. Train Man is based on a true story about a nerd, somebody who might frequent this store,
right?
Maybe not unsimilar to
I like them already.
Who views a beautiful woman being assaulted on a train and decides to come out of his shell and intervene, and then it's about their ensuing relationship. And this is based on an actual factual true story that happened that is kind of like this cultural kind of like a modern myth in Japan. There's been 3 different mangas on it. There's been a live action movie on it. I would imagine a novel at some point.
Right.
This is a modern mythos in Japan of a level that's it's hard for us to understand. But this was like a big news story that just blew up, and they're like, we could make a comic about that.
Let's do this.
Yeah, and it's cool. Pretty good. I hate the ending, but whatever. Yeah. Number 6, Monster. What's this about?
This is about Godzilla, Life and Times. No. Other monsters. It is Dexter, the Japanese version of Dexter.
Closer.
Oh.
It is about a Japanese surgeon who is living in Germany.
Okay. And
he saves this man's life to later find out that that man is a serial killer.
Ooh, and neat.
Yeah, the serial killer is killing all these people, but he's also obsessed with the surgeon. So he's bringing the surgeon into it, and the surgeon actually has to like become the investigator, and it's all tied into surgeries and medical stuff too. It's really cool. It's also a great anime, which last I knew was on Netflix. May not be on Netflix. To check Hulu also.
Japan's Master of Suspense.
Yes, Naoki Urasawa. Urasawa-sama. Sorry, I let my weeb show there for a minute. Moving on.
Tuck that back in.
Moving on to our next one. What is this one about?
The Fifth Beatle. This is about the Fifth Beatle.
Who is the Fifth Beatle?
It wasn't Ringo.
It was not Ringo. He was sort of
the.
He was
like
the
stand-in.
Sixth. He was the sixth Beatle.
Okay.
Because there were originally 5 of them. Peter Best was their original drummer, and they had a different bassist whose name I forget, but there was actually a movie made about him.
Yeah.
So that guy left, and he was like John Lennon's best friend. And then Peter Best, who was the original drummer, left, and then Ringo became. Right. But this is actually about their manager, Brian Epstein, who is a young guy who, is really responsible for their rise and the commitment and all the work that he put in. And he basically ruined his entire life propping up these. Yeah. And this is a biography about him, but it also has a little bit of a fantasy spin on it just to kind of exude the legend. Mm-hmm. It's really cool, and it's also just a great story about the 60s and everything that's going on this time. He was a homosexual, and at the time in the UK, that was illegal. Like, they will put you in jail. Yeah. And he had a real struggle. He gave up a good job with his father's company to become the Beatles manager, and he just doesn't get the respect he deserves. This is a great book with beautiful art, stunning art.
So apparently he was also a matador at one point in his career.
He was obsessed with matadors.
It looks like it.
He thought that was like the most beautiful thing that somebody could do, which I don't get. But I mean, I understand, like, you got to be brave.
Yeah.
But still, like, I mean, maybe this is my bleeding heart liberal showing a little bit, but I don't think killing an animal in an arena is very funny.
Nah.
But,
All right, what number are we on? Blankets. I've read Blankets.
Isn't it great?
I really like Blankets. One of the original people involved with the store, Peyton White, turned me on to Blankets. Good book.
Blankets is the story of a long-distance romance, but it's really hard to describe how great this book is. This is really one of those that you just have to pick up and read. Yeah. And I have never met anybody who didn't love it, and you just have to pick it up and start on page 1. Every person I've ever talked to is just instantly devoured by this book. It's very emotionally entangling.
Yeah, that's a pretty eloquent.
Do you read a lot of romance and drama comics, Ron?
I don't read a lot of anything.
Would you give this book a thumbs up?
I'd give it 2.
You should probably try it.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our next one. What's this about?
Oh, that's Opera House Murders.
Yes.
I think I saw this movie.
It's not a movie.
It's a Phantom of the Opera.
Okay, so there are so many great murder mystery comics out there. The one that I want to throw out is the Kendaichi Case Files. It's about a young detective who, wherever he goes, people die around him, and he has to solve their murders.
Maybe he's killing them.
That comes up later in the series.
Well, if people are dying all around you, let's do the math.
If you're a fan of murder mysteries, highly recommend this manga. It's super great. Moving on to our next one.
I'm not going near that one.
It says what it is right on the cover.
That's a terrible book. Why would you want to read that?
This is essentially nonfiction. The author, Keiji Nakazawa, is a survivor of the bombing of Hiroshima. And
that'd be a rough read. That would be
I had to put it down several times. And this is his story and the story of his family. And it's 10 books. The first one is everything up to the bombing. The second one is the initial aftermath right after the bombing.
Right.
And then 3 through 10 are the after effects. And it is one of the most intense books I've ever read in my life.
Yeah, it looks like it would be.
Yeah,
Art Spiegel Mouse.
Yeah, it was
Mouse,
with an introduction by Art Spiegelman, who wrote Mouse, who we talked about, which is a book we talked about recently, and is the only reason it's not on this list, because we talked about it like 2 episodes ago, something like that. Wow. Highly recommend this one.
Cool.
Moving on, and the next one.
This is about rain. This is a weather book.
Really?
Look, there's clouds. There's.
Not even gonna read the title. I'm just gonna look at the picture.
I'm just looking. Okay, so aliens come, see, and they start like beaming up the cows. I don't know what this is about. Buddha?
It is about the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama.
All right, the Buddha.
Yeah, the Buddha.
Okay.
It's not a religious book,
right?
Although it obviously involves a lot of religion in it.
If you find Buddha in the road, kill him. Yeah.
Is this a West Virginia thing?
No. That's one of their if you meet Buddha on the road, kill him.
Okay, I don't think that's in the book. So this is kind of like the story of his life, Siddhartha Gautama, the man who became the Buddha,
right?
But made into an epic. So his life the historical documentation of that time period, there's no way you could call this nonfiction.
Right.
There are historical things that happen in this book that are real, and you could say that it's an accurate depiction of India in that time.
Okay.
But this is like a romanced version of his life and how he was a prince in India and how he he was grown up in the royal palace and how he saw what was going on in India at that time and how that led him to his path to eventually form one of the largest religions of our time. The second, after Hinduism, I think it's the second largest non-Judeo-Christian religion in this world.
Wow.
So this is by Osamu Tezuka, which is one of the most prolific comic writers of all time. Maybe second only to Stan Lee. Osamu Tezuka is single-handedly responsible for the manga and anime industries in Japan. Very prolific writer, so highly recommend this book. It's a very, very good read.
Okay.
All right, let's stop talking about serious stuff.
No more serious stuff.
Yes. All right, we're moving on to the Four Horsemen mailbag. Do we have that ready? So I was given this ultimatum.
Okay.
There are two kinds of people in life, and you have to tell me which one you are. Okay. Alex, our image, please.
What are the two?
Do you love Mouse Hunt? Or do you hate Mouse Hunt? Because essentially, human beings can be boiled down into two categories. You love Mouse Hunt, or you hate Mouse Hunt. When you take all of humanity and you want to go totally black and white, there really is nothing else. Even man and woman has gotten to the point now where that's not even two categories anymore. Now the only thing that is truly black and white about this world is, do you love Mouse Hunt? Or do you hate it?
I'm pretty sure this is what Thanos used. This is his equation. This is the formula he used to figure out who was going to stick around.
So, is it the people who loved Mouse Hunt who died or lived?
There are piles of dust around the people that, watched Mouse Hunt.
So all the people who loved Mouse Hunt died.
Piles of dust.
So you're telling me that the Winter Soldier he loved Mouse Hunt.
Peter Parker watched that thing every weekend.
Peter Parker, sure. But Bucky Barnes?
Oh yeah.
T'Challa, the Black Panther?
He was totally into Nathan Lane.
Okay, Star-Lord, I get. If he would have been on Earth in the 90s, I totally imagine him up at the TV with his Cheerios watching Mouse Hunt. So, are you telling me you would be a pile of dust?
So, I've never seen the movie.
You've never seen Mouse Hunt?
I've never seen Mouse Hunt.
Your children grew up in that.
Oh yeah, I avoided watching it.
Why?
There was a lot of stuff that they watched that I absolutely avoided. A lot.
I make it a point that if
Remember, this is the guy whose first movie experience with his kids was Friday the 13th.
Jurassic Park, Blade. I got a lot of trouble for taking them to Blade. That's real bad.
I try to make it a point, if my children are watching TV, then I'm watching it with them.
But not Mouse Hunt. There's nothing going to go wrong in Mouse Hunt.
You wouldn't know. You haven't seen it.
It's true.
Okay.
So which one are you?
I love it.
You love Mouse Hunt?
It's Nathan Lane. You haven't seen it. What do you know?
So is the premise, I assume, is sort of like Ratatouille. There's a mouse, and the chef is running around trying to catch said mouse, or there's... No, what's the premise of this?
The premise is Nathan Lane and his brother Lee Evans, their lives just fall apart. Mm-hmm. Nathan Lane has this really fancy restaurant. He loses it. He loses all his money. Lee Evans is getting divorced from his wife. They have nothing. They have no place to live. They have no money. Their father just recently died, and they found out that he had a home that they have inherited. It is this beat-to-crap, terrible house that is falling apart. So they decide that they're going to fix it up and sell it. Turns out it's the missing LaRue, which is this David Lloyd Wright-esque architect. Yeah. And the house is worth millions. So they're going to fix it up to sell it. Trouble is, there's a mouse.
And they got to find the mouse.
But the mouse is super destructive and destroys things. And it's slapstick.
So why is Nathan Lane dressed up like a chef?
Because he is a chef.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. That makes sense.
He had a restaurant.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Cockroaches got into his restaurant, and he fed him to the mayor, and the mayor died.
It's kind of dark.
Yeah.
For sure.
Moving on to, did you know Four Horsemen? Did you want to tell us a little bit about Preview magazines?
We have this really awesome book. It comes out every month. It's called Previews Magazine. It lists a ton of stuff. There are comics, trades, there are action figures, pretty much banks. Anything that you can think of that we can get in the shop is in this book. We do special orders out of there.
Pumpkin Spice Blood Wine.
Blood wine is delicious.
Pumpkin Spice Blood Wine.
It's on page 97, I believe. So come and check it out.
All right. Yeah. All right, and then we have a sale this week. It is buy one, get one. That was last week's sale. That was the image from last week.
I missed that.
That was buy one, get one, half off Marvel back issues. Which, clarification, those are not on the wall.
Oh,
they are in the wooden boxes in the cardboard boxes. That last week was Marvel. This week is DC. But sure, we can show that image again.
Absolutely.
All right, we're running a little over, so we're moving on to our social medias. Please like us at facebook.com/4horsemencomics. Follow us on Instagram at 4horsemencomics. Watch all of our YouTube content at youtube.com/c/4horsemencomics gaming. Follow us on Twitter at the number 4horsemencomics. Watch all of our streaming content at twitch.tv/4horsemencomics and shop our TCG inventory at shop.4horsemencomics.com. Visit all three of our great stores in Morgantown, Bridgeport, and Waynesburg. And please follow Ron on his personal Twitter account at HeyYouIdiot.
I'm making that email address right now.
Do you want to be Dallas or Ripley?
Do we have to die? I don't know.
All right, you'll just be Ripley then.
I'll be Ripley. Ripley!
Hold on, I need somebody. We'll do this.
Why do we choose this post-credit scene?
Because you left me alone.
Note to self.
Something has attached itself to him.
Why are we fuzzy?
Because something has attached itself to us.
But we're fuzzy.
That's what I'm saying.
I got you. All right.
Something has attached itself to him. We have to get him to the infirmary right away.
What kind of thing? I need a clear definition.
An organism! Open the hatch!
Wait a minute, wait. If we let him in, the ship could be infected. You know the quarantine procedure. 24 hours for decontamination.
He could die in 24 hours. Open the hatch!
Listen to me. If we break quarantine, we could all die.
Look! Could you open your gosh danged hatch? We have to get him inside!
No, I can't do that. And if you were in my position, you'd do the same.
Ripley, this is an order. Open the hatch right now. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Ripley, this is an order. Do you hear me?
Yes, I read you. The answer is negative.
Well, he's just going to die then, Ripley. You're a jerk.
He did.
Believe it or not, he's going to die.
Spoiler.